What's up, VSG family? It's K-Star. It is like 2:40 a.m., so it's technically Thursday now. I can't sleep, so I thought I would go ahead and try to make my Thursday Thoughts video. I know it's already been a really heavy week here on YouTube. A lot of people going through it this week. I don't know if it's the full moon or what's going on, but we all kind of seem to be on the same page. And I cannot tell you guys how difficult it is for me to be as vulnerable as a lot of people on here. Like, seriously, I admire the people who can come on here and be as just open and honest and just bare their soul, because it is so hard for me to be that emotional. Like, I can be open and honest about a lot of stuff, about the silly stuff and the embarrassing stuff. Like, I could talk about puking and shapewear and fat girl problems and all that shit because it's my life. It's what I've dealt with forever. So I can laugh it off and talk about it, no big deal. But when it comes to the serious, emotional stuff, it's hard for me to go there. It's really hard for me to be open and honest about it. But I've tried numerous times to make some kind of video talking about the more emotional side of this journey, and I never can get through it, you know? I never can, or I can't post the video or whatever. So I'm going to attempt, because watching everybody's videos this week has really made me focus inwardly on what's been going on since the beginning of my journey, since before my journey even started. And I'm getting to a place now where I'm having to focus on a lot of stuff that I haven't wanted to focus on for a long time. And it's becoming more apparent to me why it's difficult for me to really enjoy this journey. I've talked about not being able to get excited and not being able to celebrate with my friends and family like I feel like I should be able to. And I think I know why. And it sucks. Why sucks? Because honestly, I've been on this journey a lot longer than 3 months since I had surgery. Because I really started this back in January when I first started talking to my primary care physician about having weight loss surgery. And then it went on to finding a surgeon and going to seminars and then picking a surgeon and working with my insurance company and all that. And simultaneously, so much other stuff was going on in my life that was not related to this surgery. And I feel like I have used my weight loss journey as a distraction from all the other things that have been going on in my life. And I think that's kind of taken the luster off of this journey and made it difficult for me to really celebrate it as much as I would like to. Back in January, when I first started seriously thinking about having surgery and all that, my family was hit pretty hard with some news about my grandfather's health. My dad's dad. He was like a third parent to my brother and I have a twin brother. He and my parents both live back in Oklahoma, where I'm from. And last January, we found out that he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. And I was personally very hopeful that he would beat this like he had beat every other health issue he had ever had. And unfortunately, I was taught very rapidly that hope is just about the cruelest thing in the world to have when you shouldn't. Because to really hope for the best and then get stuck with the worst, it sucks. And he was diagnosed in January. I didn't want to face it. I didn't want to believe it. So I focused on me. I focused on the surgery. I focused on anything that I could control. And then in March, I got a call from my mom saying, "You need to get on a plane today." And so I did. And I went back home. And while I was there, my grandfather passed away. So he was diagnosed in January and he was gone by March. And I wasn't ready for it. I didn't think it would happen. I didn't know how to deal with it. I was in shock. And so I didn't deal with it. I just dug a hole inside myself and I let all that grief trickle down into it. And I didn't really deal with it. I immediately came home and went back to work and started focusing on me. Instead of putting it aside and being there with my family and grieving with my family and dealing with it, I dealt with my grief by throwing myself into something else, something that I could control, and that ended up being acquiring this surgery. And then about 6 weeks later, I get another call from my mom saying, I need you to come back home because your grandmother passed away last night. And this was her mom, my mom's mom, and my dad's dad, within 6 weeks of each other. And my grandmother's loss was less shocking because she had been ill for a very long time. She had Alzheimer's, and particularly the past 3 years, has been very difficult, particularly for my mother. And I have always felt guilty for not being there with my mom while she suffered through this. And honestly, guilt has been an issue for me for a very long time for tons of reasons. It's a whole nother video that nobody wants me to make, but I felt really guilty this whole time for focusing on myself and using this journey as a distraction to not deal with losing my family members. Again, I went home for a very short period of time. I did not deal with losing them. I said all the stuff that I felt like I was supposed to say. At least my grandfather didn't suffer for very long. Or, at least my grandmother finally isn't suffering anymore. It's really a merciful loss. Even though it's tragic to us, it's merciful for her. Like everything that you say that you feel like you're supposed to say. But it was all empty. I didn't deal with any of it. Instead, I threw myself into this. And I feel like I've used it as an excuse, as a distraction, and that sort of takes the luster off the whole journey, because I feel like I've been extremely selfish. Instead of being with my family and grieving with my family, I was heaping more things for them to worry about. I made them worry about me having surgery, made them worry about the whole insurance thing, and then, they loaned me the money to pay for my surgery. Like, I just heaped more stuff on top of them when they were already going through so much. And I have a lot of guilt for doing that, for being so selfish, for wanting to focus on me, for working on myself instead of working through everything else that we should have been working through together. And I'm not even there. I'm all the way out here in Vegas and they're back in Oklahoma, and I'm so far removed from it all. And then in May, about not even a month later, a huge tornado rolls through my hometown, tears up my old elementary school that my brother and I went to, rolled up the neighborhood that my brother and I grew up in. My brother and his wife lived in the house that my brother and I grew up in, and that house was hit by the tornado. Not completely destroyed, not completely annihilated like most of the houses on their block, but it was severely devastated by the storm, needed to be rebuilt. My brother's wife was home when it happened. She was alone. Thank God she's fine. Nobody was hurt. Tornado 2 days later, smaller storm, hit my parents' house, did very little damage to their house. They were fine. But just the possibility was there. It could have been so much worse. But it was just 3 months in a row, something tragic had to happen, and I didn't go back home then when the tornado hit, but I remember looking at pictures of my hometown and just realizing that going home would never be the same because my old neighborhood and my old school were gone. And I didn't appreciate it when it was there, but I knew that nostalgia was lost. I could never go back and have that trip down memory lane again the way that it used to be. It's gone. It'll never look like that again. And again, I just let all that grief and all that frustration just trickle down inside of this little, like, pond that I had built inside myself. And just, I dammed up all those emotions inside of myself and just didn't deal with them. I was like in shock. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't focus on anything that I couldn't control. So again, I just went back to focusing on the surgery, went back to focusing on myself because I could control it. And I didn't even realize what I was doing while I was doing it, but I'm getting to a point in my journey now where I am having to face these things. And I don't want to. I don't know how. I don't know how to deal with any of this. And, but I've been thinking about it a lot because I had this really long conversation with my brother recently about my grandfather. Like, he and his wife are now living in my grandpa's old house, and so he is daily confronted with his memory, and this loss has hit my brother particularly hard, and I feel like I can't be there for him. I mean, he's my twin, he's my only sibling, and I feel like I can't be there for him because I haven't begun to deal with any of it. And if I'm there for him, then I have to be there for myself, and I have to recognize everything that's going on. I have to make it real. And I don't want to do that. But I have to. Like, I don't have a choice. It all keeps bubbling up. And I feel like I can't celebrate this journey the way that I want to because I have so much guilt surrounding it by using it as a distraction from my family, from everything that was going on. And I think that's why it's been hard for me to talk about the emotional side of things because I can't control that. I can control what food I eat and how much I exercise, and I can obsess over numbers on scales and stuff like that because I can control that to a certain extent, much more than I can control what's going on in here, you know? And just talking to my brother about my grandfather, you know, it just made me realize how much I wish he was here to see everything that we've done. And he was always so concerned about my weight loss, so concerned about my health, and just now we know why, you know? And I know he would be so happy and he would be so proud. But instead of enjoying that with him because he's not here, I'm struck with all this guilt of using something that I know he would have enjoyed as a distraction from dealing with losing him. And it's just so much. I didn't want to cry. Everyone says that, right? And I just feel like a bad person for being happy, for celebrating success. I feel like I shouldn't be doing this right now. I feel like I should be grieving with my family. I should be with my family. I should be focused on them, not on me. I feel guilt. I feel a lot of guilt. And I feel like it's not right for me to be happy right now or for me to be doing this right now. And it's hard because I want to be there for my brother. I want to be there for my family, but I'm too far away. And I'm not strong enough to even deal with what I feel. So how can I possibly be there for him? And he's right there in the middle of it. And he's handling it. So what's my excuse, you know? And I just feel like I've been really selfish this entire time. I've made it about me. I've put more stress on my family. And I think all of my grief issues is a lot of the reason why I can't get really excited about all of this. And I want to because I know that they would want me to. They would want me to be happy. They would want me to enjoy this. I wish I could get to a place where I can enjoy this as much as I know that they would have enjoyed this. And I've just been thinking about all the other stuff that they won't get to witness. And I won't get to celebrate with them because they're not here. And I just feel like we all got robbed, you know? So I want to deal with it. I want to get to a place where I can celebrate it because I know that they would want me to, especially my grandfather would want me to be happy. But it's hard because of the guilt, because of the selfishness that I feel. So I know that is not fun or nice, and I feel like I should try to be more upbeat and more energetic like I normally am, but this is where I'm at this week. I'm not all rainbows and sunshine. Sorry. But I know that's a lot, and I know it's already been a really heavy week here on YouTube, and I'm sorry to add to it, but I guess I'm jumping on the emotional bandwagon with everybody else. It's hard for me to say this stuff out loud. It's hard for me to be this vulnerable because I don't like the way it feels at all. But I feel like I need to do this. I need to get it out. I need to focus on it and not focus so much on the weight loss that I know I've talked before about not doing the mental work. Clearly, I haven't tried hard enough. So, really sorry, you guys. I hope you're having a better week than I am. And I will see you all on Tuesday.